It should be a crime that the show is as good as it is. This show is so good. It had me absolutely tearing up in this particular episode. What was so fantastic is we went from a period of, we were kind of having this whole discussion last episode about, who's right. And it's not really so me saying that, Rudy's a terrible person or that the father's a terrible person. It was a discussion that it created. And I really did love the comments that we end up having, kind of showing both perspectives. Yes, a lot of people that have actually read into the source material, but more just the here and now, what people see characters as. And I think that discussion is fantastic because what some people might forget is that a lot of people are looking at the show from different viewpoints, different perspectives of how they've dealt with relationships, and also their knowledge of the actual source material. But what I love so much about this episode is it takes it and it changes it into the perspective of, does it really matter? In the end, does it really matter? And I think that's the choice that Rudy ends up having in the end is, here's this guy that's trying right now. Why don't we just reset? Just hit the reset button. It doesn't really matter in the end. And it's fantastic because that's technically my viewpoint. As much as you have difficulties with people, just hit the reset button and start over. Just move on. Because does it really matter in the end? It doesn't. Who's right doesn't matter in the end. I love that. But yeah, the episode opens up us getting the perspective of the father. I know there's probably some sort of actual explanation in the source material that there was a reason why, but I found it very convenient that the father was actually in like some actual adventuring outfit the moment that it all happened. I don't know if maybe he's seen that something was coming and he rushed and got his gear and then grabbed his daughter, or if perchance he was planning on going somewhere right that particular moment, and so he was already geared up and ready to go, already had his cloak and his armor and everything on. It's like convenient that you are wearing all that stuff, but like I said, I could technically see it as him seeing something coming and getting ready, but it would take a while to get ready. But yeah, it shows him teleported into the middle of nowhere, and he goes back to their homeland, which again, he finds it all pretty much gone. That's when he kind of sets up the whole process of building up the search party to go out and look for the people of this particular area or this region, and then sets out on his adventure. And then, of course, it shows a slow descent that he ends up going into as it takes longer and longer, and his desires to find people drive him to the brink. It could be like a mixture, I guess, because it doesn't really necessarily have any sort of statements happening during this time. We just gotta assume that based on that descent, it could either be the fact that he's losing hope, or he's spending way too much time working on it. Like he is working himself to death, or it could be both. It could be both as well. But yeah, this eventually leads him to the current point that he's at right now. And it does seem like the entire time his daughter is kind of his staple, the thing to kind of keep him from falling into madness. She was technically his rock this entire time, his inspiration to keep pressing forward. But it was really cool though, because I didn't even put this dude on my outline. Like this random thief guy, Geese, what importance is he? Oh yeah, he's actually pretty darn important. So we see him actually confront the father. He knows him. But yeah, I really love this because Geese ends up really drilling into Paul. Like, I think your expectations for him are a little too high. Like, yeah, I can see that this kid's a genius. He can cast spells without speaking. But I mean, he's 11. What is your expectations for him when he's 11 years old? And he's like, well, he's a genius, so he should be able to handle this stuff. And he's like, have you ever been to the Demon Continent? Like, and were you at the Demon Continent when you're 11? Do you think that you could have pulled this off? Well, he had a super with him. The super was protecting him the whole time. Like, it's not that easy. Like, he's pointing out, like, I've been in the Demon Continent this entire time. It's not that easy. This place is desolate. It's dangerous. The days are super hot. The nights are chilling cold. Like, you don't know what you're facing with, which is surprising because I thought that Paul at some point had gone to the Demon Island, or continent, but I guess he's never been there. At least that's what they're implying here. But yeah, he's like, go out there, look at it. It's not an easy place to be. I guess a central continent person would never know with your nice and comfortable central continent. But no, he pushed him like, well, why was the boy so happy? It's like, well, I don't think he wanted you to worry about him. He was focused on making sure that you didn't have this worry that he was going through some terrible stuff. And I really liked because it kind of ended this conversation with him saying, look, you should just be happy that you're with him. You should be happy that you found him. Did you want him to show up missing parts and with dead eyes? Like, what do you want? Yeah, it was a great scene. Like I said, I never really had any expectations for Geese being some sort of special character. just some random doofball that showed up in the prison with Rudy and then just part ways with him. But no, Geese is actually, I guess, apparently working and helping find these people. Or at least he maybe is starting to now. I didn't really get the clear picture on if he had been before or he is now, because it seems like he's implying that he is now helping them find people, because he's like, okay, I'm going to go check these 2 places, and because they haven't been checked yet, right? And he's like, wait, what are you doing? Like, it seems like Paul is shocked that he's going to search these places, so it seems like this Geese guy is now working for them. It's where we cut to Paul going back to his chamber where Norn's at, and he has a brief moment where he recalls Rudy kind of being happy about Norn, like, hey, look, her cheeks are so soft and everything. And then it quickly jumps to him crawling towards Paul, like cut up and missing limbs, just exactly what Geese was kind of implying. Like, is this what you wanted? Is this what you were expecting? Is this what you want? And so it seems like both Geese's statements and this kind of brief vision he gets of realization that my son is safe. He finally goes to see Rudy, and yeah, it just freaks out and jumps out there at him. And Richard has to drag him away, like, look, just let him be. It's going to be fine. He's like, no, you don't realize. Do you realize what he was going through last night? I love Eris. Yeah, so we get this little moment where the 2 of them come together. And it was so cute because the entire time Rudy's looking down, he's like, you don't need to apologize. I was wrong. I was just having fun. This is all terrible. I should have seen what you were going through. I should have seen that message. What did the message say? But eventually, at the point in which he's going to leave, this bartender guy comes up and says, here, look, this is on the house. I don't know what you guys have been going through, son, but hey, have you tried looking at your dad's face? And that's when he sees his face. It's just it's hurting. And I really love this because it again calls back briefly to Rudy's previous life, where there was somebody that apparently the moment that he decided to become a NEET, after this whole incident where he was bullied, this one friend decided to come see him and was kind of joking with him like, man, I wish I had a reason to stay home and play video games all day. And he snapped at him. And what he didn't realize at the time was this guy was trying to console him. He was trying to help him, and he snapped. It was his own way of trying to reach out to him, and he snaps back. He's always trying to look to blame others rather than accept what he's given. And this pushes him to say, hey, Dad, look, let's just act like yesterday didn't happen. Let's act like it didn't happen. Come over here, come down here. And then he reaches out his hand and he just hugs him and says, I missed you, Dad. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is killing me. Never take for granted what you have. Like, if somebody is there that loves you, don't miss that opportunity. And I love this scene so much because it's that moment of like, you thought you lost each other and you didn't. So take that for granted. But yeah, Paul's like, I couldn't find anybody. I thought I lost you. Super happy that he has him. But yeah, they go back to the room and start talking it up and talking about how many times it took to have Rudy. And then, yeah, that's when Eris comes back with Richard. She's got a bruise because apparently she was difficult to keep under wraps. But yeah, she's still super mad. Like, why are you with this guy? I seen what you went through last night. Why are you with him? And he's like, look, we're both humans. We make mistakes. Let's just kind of move on from here. But that's when they decide to have another meeting. This is when Rudy pretty much reveals to Eris, look, just be aware. The town's gone. We're going back, but the town is gone. Or at least the entire region is gone, technically. And she seems to be prepared for it. I don't know if this is one of those things where Eris is trying to be stronger than she is. She's always had an act for, like, acting like she's stronger than she actually is, or trying to give the appearance that she's acceptant or she's prepared for things. Technically, the whole situation when they first met, and Rudy put her through this whole trial to kind of gain her trust, and they faked out that they were kidnapped, she tried to act tough, and when she seen death, she wasn't shocked by it. And even back then, I wasn't really sure about Eris. Like, I didn't know if she was always putting on an act, or if it's just that she's always dealt with really rough things, and she's tougher than she looks. So I'm not sure if this is another case where she's acting as if she's ready for something, and then the moment that she actually realizes it's going to hit her. But yeah, like I said, his goal is to go back to their hometown, basically get Eris back home, and then he's going to go out and search for his other family members. And he's got the money and everything that he needs because, his father's given him everything that he needs to go there. So I guess we're going back to the central continent after this point, and they're parting ways with Paul. Paul's going to continue to search for people in this particular area. We had a parting of ways, but Not before Rudy gives out all the little statuettes of Rajerd, because that's part of the plan now, so he's got to make sure he gives those out. But it was also cute because Rudy tries to say goodbye to Norn, and she's kind of like, no, I don't want to say goodbye to him. And then Rajerd comes up and says, you should cherish your siblings. Like I said, absolutely fantastic episode. Had me tearing up, especially the whole scene with they're finally having a hug. Like, this is exactly what they should have done initially. This should have been their reunion, but unfortunately, them seeing everything, different perspectives, and the things that they've gone through have kind of created a divide, and having that reset button finally brings them together, which I think was definitely needed. And like I said before, it's always important to cherish what you have and before you lose it, which I think is a statement that they kind of make towards the later part of it. It's like, look, you could not see each other again. Take this opportunity you have now before you lose it. But yeah, super cool. Geese is awesome. I like Geese. He's a cool dude. Like I said, I thought he was just going to be an extra. It's funny because it's that aspect of, you watch so many shows that have these extras that just pop out of nowhere. They have zero meaning to the story, and you kind of just discard them. But you forget in shows like, or stories like Mushoku Tensei, they don't waste characters. Characters have meaning. If somebody shows up and they have a name, they're going to be important somehow. Don't discredit them. Don't think that, like, Gallus technically was the same way. Random guy pops up out of nowhere, and then you don't see them for a couple episodes. Yeah, he's probably going to be significant somehow. Yeah, that's my thoughts on episode 17 of Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. Hope you guys enjoyed this impressions. If you did, leave a like down below, comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video if you can. Support us on Patreon or in the tips link in the description below. And we thank everybody that does. And y'all take care.